Welcome to PPC Hot Takes, where we challenge paid media beliefs. And in today's bold and contrarian hot take, we are going to dissect Google's AI. And I brought Pam Wagner here, who is the CEO and founder of Ajala Digital. And she has a hot take around Google's AI, in that Google's AI isn't always smarter than you. And that's a very bold take because, as you know, and as you've been seeing, Google's really pushing a lot of this automated AI in the platform. The reps are calling constantly. I got like 3 or 4 phone calls today trying to opt me into AI Max. And I think it's a really great time to have this conversation around AI. There's a time and place for AI, and it really might not be what it's all cracked up to be for your Google Ads performance. So today we're going to just talk about when it will be super effective for you and when you may want to potentially hold back. So I'm really honored to have you here, Pam. Welcome. And I would love to spend a few minutes to talk about different types of Google AI automations.
Thank you so much for having me here, Michelle. It's a pleasure, and I look forward to the conversation.
Awesome. And you are the first female founder and a PPC expert, female PPC expert on my channel. So I'm really happy that you're here to talk about the different AI automations. So, for all the people that are watching that might not be as seasoned with Google's AI, can you share some examples of the different just AI features within Google Ads?
Yeah, so there are a whole bunch of AI features that Google has been using for many, many years behind the scenes. Some of that plays into the algorithm, into machine learning, into how your campaigns are optimized. So there's a lot already going on the back end that you might not necessarily see. It's only in the last couple of years that it has surfaced. So, such as AI mix with your search terms, such as using AI in bidding, such as optimizing your audiences in Performance Max, and so on. So, these are just a couple of ways that Google intends to help you optimize your campaigns and make it easier for you to manage them. But as you'll see soon, it might not always be in your best interest.
Yeah, I love that. And that's why I always am super hesitant when these Google reps call. And one thing I forgot to mention is Pam actually is an ex-Googler. So, anyway, so she was on the other side trying to get people to adopt. Am I correct?
Yeah. So I know exactly why those Google reps tell you certain things. And I have to be careful not to say too much. But I've some of my first flatmate, for example, is currently one of the engineers behind the PMax campaigns. So typically, most of the knowledge I get is still very much insider knowledge, very much from the company, and I understand both sides. And I what you'll see me vouch for is just to educate yourself, to put in the work yourself, because it'll help you make much better decisions, much more confident decisions. And you'll probably be able to get a lot more out of Google Ads if you add a little bit of your own knowledge.
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and dive in here to the first question that I have. Why do you think Google's push towards AI automation might not always deliver the best results?
So where we see AI and machine learning work really well is when there are massive amounts of data available. And of course, those massive amounts of data come with typically a bigger budget. But most small business owners do not have hundreds, even thousands of dollars or tens of thousands of dollars to spend per day. So until you get those massive amounts of data, oftentimes months may pass. So when you're a smaller advertiser and you work with maybe 10, 30, 50, $70 per campaign, or sometimes even 100, getting certain amounts of data that would be required for AI to work is impossible. So you have to work with other strategies that allow for a little bit more manual input from your end, not necessarily require more work, but more manual and more thoughtful input. And
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like take you through some data points, we've seen, for example, for AI Search Max, when that's implemented for most small advertisers, Google just ends up pushing up your cost per click. So we're like, if you'd use manual CPC or normal search terms, you'd be at maybe $5-10 if you have expensive search terms, or even higher. With AI Max, it could go up to 100. We've seen it also with some of our clients where suddenly we're like, more than 50% of your search terms aren't even shown to you. And then you get clicks that cost like $250. And you are already excluding like the keywords that you don't like as negative keywords. You might already be using phrase match instead of just broad match. You might already be using like really specific search terms and a good structure, but it sometimes just is not enough. So there's just a bunch of like safeguards to put in place so that you can scale your campaigns or run them sustainably without seeing those like $100 cost per clicks.
Yeah, I have some initial thoughts when it comes to the AI Max campaigns, just from testing it with larger budgets. I'm not touching it with my smaller clients, but with larger budgets, I'm definitely seeing the search terms that are coming through look like broad match, but like even more like drunk than it was, like in terms of the relevancy. It really colors outside the lines of the meaning. And we already know that broad match is coloring outside of the lines, but AI Max is just, it's going a little bit further than that. And then on top of that, click through rates go down. Conversion rates, I haven't really seen much of an increase. So I can't vouch for it right now. Maybe someday in the future, it will be the go to. That will probably be the main match type. I foresee match types eventually going away with the way that broad match and phrase match has been behaving, and even exact match. So I expect AI Max to be where the match types will eventually be evolving to. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll mostly work on interest-based signals. So the way that people are using search already with like AI search pretty much.
Yeah.
And we'll see how it then is able to compete with the other platforms, because we have already moved some clients away from Google Ads and, for example, into TikTok ads, because
Hmm.
they're seeing better results and better conversions there. So I think Google is currently really at a crossroads where it's trying to stay relevant,
Yeah.
and I don't think it has fully figured out yet how to do that.
Yeah, I honestly think that AI Max was a sloppy, a sloppy decision that was just put together really fast because they had something that they had to do in order to catch up, to play catch up with ChatGPT and the other, AI tools that were coming out. So will it be better? Potentially. I mean, remember when PMax came out, it was completely junk and a lot of people are just completely wasting their money on it. But now a lot of advertisers have adopted to it as long as they have, good conversion tracking signals and a strong budget in order to get the results that are necessary to actually, pass everything back and get good results.
Yeah, you got to consider and be aware of that. And when I say you, I mean everybody who's watching and listening, is that whatever Google puts out is half baked or even 25% baked. So it's very far from being perfect. It's very far from being ready, and it's mostly out there so that we as users are the guinea pigs, give it data, and then it keeps reiterating based on that.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So, can you share some examples where manual or non AI strategies have outperformed automation, or automated AI campaigns?
Yeah, so the major challenge that a lot of people seem to have is that they say, "Hey, I hit a ceiling. I cannot scale. When I increase my budget, my cost per result goes up, my cost per conversion goes up, or my lead quality decreases." And that's typically kind of like your alarm bell to know, hey, something needs to change. And what we've seen in those moments is that not just the cost per result goes up, but also the cost per click goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Google has been, I think we figured that out early this year or early last year. I don't 2024 and 2025 sometimes merge as years in
Mm-hmm.
my head. That Google engaged in something called price fixing. So it's like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting better results. Well, we want our share of that too. So they keep increasing the price so that you end up paying more. And the way to counter that is to switch to manual CPC or maximize clicks again for your campaign, not conversion based bidding. Because what we've seen then is that the conversions still keep coming in, but suddenly instead of 25 bucks per click, your cost per click is down to $2-3 again. So what happens when we've made those changes is that the cost per click decreases from about 20 to 80%. And at the same time, you still keep getting in the conversions, but of course, because now you're getting more clicks for your budget again, your conversions increase
Mm-hmm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes, just running the classic, basic manual CPC maximize clicks campaign works better for scaling than if you just go for like target return on ad spend or target cost per acquisition and so on.
So, do you ever go from target cost per acquisition to a manual
Yeah,
or maximize clicks campaign to scale? And then your
yeah,
CPC is lower and you're able to collect more clicks that, assuming that your conversion rate stays the same because you're sending traffic to the same landing page, you're going to be able to convert more clicks into actual leads.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Great. Well, those are great strategies that the audience here can take away too. And for some campaigns that I run, I still see the value in manual, especially when it comes to branded campaigns. Do you personally use automated bid strategies on branded campaigns, or do you like to use more manual so that you can control it?
So we typically stick with more like manual because we oftentimes only have it run just in case, so that the brand shows up just in case like the competitors decide to throw in ads.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why we mostly keep it on like manual CPC or
Yeah.
maximize clicks.
Exactly. So that there's at least some coverage and then you're not overspending on your brand name because hopefully, you would be appearing high for the organic ranking for your own brand name anyway. So, what are some common pitfalls that advertisers face when relying solely on AI driven automation?
So, for example, for a PMAX campaign, Google says that your ideal daily budget should be somewhere between 5 to 10 times your cost per conversion. So, if you follow that, obviously you're easily at a budget above like $100 a day, and for most like small business owners, that's not doable. So that's kind of like the first pitfall. The other pitfall is that with Google's recommendation, oftentimes if it suggests to switch from maximize clicks to like target ROAS or conversion based bidding, it also automatically increases your budget. So this has been done in a very sneaky way. So you have to pay attention. If you end up accepting any of those recommendations, make sure your budget stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say still keep a very close eye on your search terms. The match types really are, I feel like the match types are a recommendation, but I don't feel like Google sticks to it because
Mm-hmm.
even if we exclude certain search terms, and there's also like match types for negative keywords,
Mm-hmm.
it still keeps showing some of them. I'm like, I've already excluded all the different variations that it can be excluded, but then it
Mm-hmm.
still shows up. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just don't exclude your search terms once. Make it like a weekly task or a once every 2 weeks task where you just go through it and really keep observing what's coming in and what can I exclude.
I think the key here is just being proactive. It's not a set it and forget it thing, especially when Google's making recommendations. I can't tell you I had like how many times I've had clients that will go in that recommended tab and will just click, click, click and just accept every a recommendation, and then they call me and they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I did, and I don't know why my performance is declining. And then I have to go in the change history and see what they did. And then what I say is, hey, your performance is declining because of these things. And then they're like, well, Google told me to do that. And then I have to tell them that Google's not really looking out for your best interest. At the end of the day, let's be real. When you're looking at the Google Ads interface, it's really designed to be tricky and to trick you, to get you to do certain things that would benefit Google and not you, the advertiser, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I had a wonderful client this year. I really enjoyed working with them. Part of as we started working was then also as it turned out that their own agency would be part of our call. So I was coaching them in their agency. And the agency kept coming with these arguments that like, oh, but Google told us and our Google rep told us and so on, and then it must be right. And I'm like, unfortunately, that's not how it works because the Google rep has their own goals. They want to keep their job. They want to get a promotion. They have a certain performance system that they need to stick to.
Quotas.
They tell
Yep.
you things because it gives them points. They don't tell you things because they really know your business. Like the last call I had with the Google rep, oh God, it made me so mad. She even at one point asked, like, it seems like you're a little bit hesitant to like accept these suggestions. And I'm like, yeah, because you literally have not told me a single useful thing. And I can tell that you have not prepared for this call. Like, you see what kind of campaigns I have in my account, but then you ask me, what campaigns do you have in this account? I'm like, you can literally look into the ad and see what my goal is with those ads. So
Yeah. Yeah,
it is
it's
what it is.
yeah, exactly. And that just goes to show that you can't trust, anything that they come back to you with. So you have to use your own common sense too, when it comes to when you get recommendations, when you see the recommendations tab, and question it, and also assume that it's something that is not always going to be in your best interest at the end of the day. So, any other comments on that, Pam?
I think trusting your gut is a very good point, and I've seen that AI is getting better, like ChatGPT, Claude, and so on, in terms of giving suggestions. It's still not like 100% accurate, but do check in with AI and say, feed it with your data and tell it where you're at, and it can give you quite good suggestions.
It can, but I've also seen it hallucinate too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a potential client that reached out, and basically he asked me for a recommendation, and then he um, went to ChatGPT, had ChatGPT come up with a Google Ads media plan, sent it to me, and it recommended me to use broad match modified keywords and all these like outdated call only ads are going to, they should have been gone. Google made an announcement earlier this year, but apparently by Q1 of next year they're going to be gone. So that's the thing. It's these AI tools, they're scraping from like old content, so they could be recommending stuff, and they might not, be something that could actually be done.
Yeah, because even just yesterday, Claude told me its cutoff date is January 2025.
For the call only ads.
No, for something else that I was asking
Oh.
it. Yeah, so consider that that's the status quo.
Oh, any marketers, how can marketers strike the balance between automation and human led PPC management?
Watch your data. So don't look too much at what industry standards say because most metrics that are called industry standards are published by agencies based on their own advertising companies that they take care of. But there is no such thing as an industry standard. It just does not exist because the data does not exist. Nobody has collected that, and that's natural because it's almost impossible to do that. So when you look at your data, work with yourself and set the standard yourself. So if you're getting currently, let's say, conversions at the cost of $46 per conversion, well, look at, does this fit within my business? Does this work for my business? Does this work for my margins? If not, okay, where do I want to be? All right, maybe I want to be at like $10. Okay, so what can I do to get closer to those $10? Can I focus on, let's say, certain states in the US that are cheaper for me? Typically, Florida, Texas, New York, and California are the most expensive ones. Can I focus on certain age ranges? Can I focus on certain audiences that are cheaper for me? And don't let other people's standards or published metrics confuse you, because their funnel might be completely different, their price might be completely different, the follow-up might be completely different, the number of products they have. Like, I could go on and on. There's so many things that are just varying factors there. So in a nutshell, it's okay to let Google's basic AI help you. Like, you can use maximize conversions if you have enough conversions. But if you start feeling like and seeing that the cost per conversion goes up, or the cost per click goes up, then change it. And don't be afraid of making those changes. What I tell my clients is, when we test something new, is, hey, we're going to try this for like 2 to 4 weeks. If it doesn't work, we're going to do XYZ. So that way you're not stuck with it. It doesn't hurt your business. And at the same time, you get to try out new things and eventually benefit from something that works better.
Yeah. It's really important to be testing and seeing what is, working, and just evolving your strategy. Like we had talked about earlier, it's PPC is not a set it and forget it type of campaign. So, do you see any situations or client profiles where AI is truly indispensable versus where it's just overrated?
That's a good question. I think when you start off with Google Ads, doing a good old search campaign is still your best practice, because you get a feel for like search terms, you get a feel for like reporting. It's very simplified, and then you can switch to Performance Max later on. I very much recommend people to use AI for like writing ad copy, but you gotta know how to prompt. So don't just tell the AI, hey, write ad copy for my Google Ads, and each, not longer than 90 characters and so on. But give it your input, give it a knowledge base, give it your website copy, your social media, give it a certain style that you want to follow, and then you can direct it. I've often seen that the basic AI copies that people come up with are still rather bland. And I'd like, for example, copy to include numbers. I'd like copy to include metrics. Worked with over 500 happy customers, over 210 5-star reviews in Google Maps, and so on. So, oh my God, it's an adorable cup. Oh my God, that's so cute.
Thank you.
So, yeah, and use AI to help it improve what you're doing as your own feedback, as your own coach. So use it, but know that you got to give it some direction.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had AI help to write content, or even copy, or I've had clients have AI write copy, and it just comes out really bland. It's just like they didn't even put salt and pepper with the eggs. It was just plain egg whites, and there's just like nothing to really enhance it. So, yeah, I think it's really important to prompt it with the right information, and especially give it your website. You can give it your Google My Business profile. Your customers' reviews are really great feedback for you to include in your ad copy, because that's all what your clients' experiences are. And then you can use that to write really strong copy along with the statistics or the numbers that you mentioned. So that's really important. So let's move on here. Do you recommend? How do you recommend teams prepare for the future where AI is prevalent but not always the best tool?
I think just keep learning about AI, keep trying out different tools, and as you said, just keep observing the output it gives you. Don't assume it's perfect. It's people look at it as like it's going to be the solution to everything, but
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to replace us all, but that's not how it's going to be. You're already starting to see a little bit of like a pushback for all the AI slop that's being created in
Mm-hmm.
terms of videos, in terms of content, and so on. So the human element is always going to remain, but it is a general expectation that you know how to work with it so to make your job more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
For example, where earlier it would have taken me probably half a day to come up with a decent blog post, or maybe even longer with like keyword research and so on. Now, with the right prompt, I can create in less than 5 minutes. So use it to your benefit, but review it, add your own flavor to it,
Mm-hmm.
train the AI in that, but always, always keep the human, the team in the loop. And I think especially like, and that goes beyond like Google Ads now, but especially in like the customer service side, keep the human beings, please. I'm so tired by those AI chatbots that just don't work.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
But on a different topic or aligning with this, did you see Pamela by Google Labs that was released 2 weeks ago? Oh my gosh, I
Uh,
have to send it to you. It's amazing. Basically, you just put your website in there, and it will come up with different display creatives. And it looks like you
that's awesome.
used a real professional graphic designer. And in fact, I'm going to be actually using some of the creatives from Pameli for one of my clients' Facebook campaigns coming up pretty soon. You have to try it out. It's and everyone here, I'll drop a link below so everyone can check it out and see. But it's super simple. You just put your website in, and it scans the website content, and it looks at the images, and it will come up with even better images than what you have. So
That's awesome. Yeah, I think those tools are a game changer for the especially for e-commerce, for like any food related stuff, for beauty. Oh, I can't try it right now because I'm in Vietnam. So it says it's
oh,
not available in your regions.
oh, okay. So maybe when you go back home.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can try it in a VPN. So,
yeah,
but yeah.
it's pretty amazing. And yeah, it's just how do we keep up with all these different AI tools that are coming out? It's there's just so many.
Oh my God. Yeah, I figured I just give them a try when somebody mentions it shortly, but I think I'm pretty quick at like deciding, hey, this is useful for me or not.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think that image generation, AI video generation is getting better, but image generation still has a little bit of way to go. It's good to know about Pomeli getting there.
Hmm.
It's going to be extremely important.
Yeah. Great. So let's move on to the last two questions that I have here. What are your thoughts on the ethical concerns or transparency issues surrounding AI in PPC?
Yeah, it's you got to be careful with your data. You got to be aware that whatever data you might upload in an AI tool is going to be available to other people and not just you. And I think there is this very, very dire need for more privacy, for more data protection. But I've also seen over the last like 10 to 12 months that most of the authorities do not care.
Hmm.
Even if there are data protection regulation authorities and bodies within on a national level of countries, it takes them ages to solve something, and if they respond it's just a matter of bureaucracy.
Yeah.
So I think data protection is extremely important. I think it unfortunately hasn't gotten bad enough yet for people to realize the need. I think the kids that are being shown on social media right now, they are the ones who are going to suffer later when they have grown up, because literally the baby's pictures are going to be found. Like, yeah,
Mm.
I could go on about this. So be conscious. Don't think you don't matter. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm just like one person." No, it's like every single person matters. It's the same when you buy groceries. Like what you buy matters. You vote with your dollar, and I think you vote with your data and what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
And I make it a point that when I delete my account on certain platforms, that I have my data removed. I cannot double check that, unfortunately, but I've had a few instances by now, about a handful, with platforms that people know very well about that told me my data was deleted, only for me to see later that my data was not deleted.
Mm.
So try to care as much as you can as a user, but unfortunately in the general wider public and companies, and I don't see them taking it seriously. They might say, but they're not.
Yeah, I can definitely see cases where there's companies that have top secret information and they're potentially using AI to help them come up with campaign themes for their marketing. But, this is let's say, for example, it's like a new vehicle that's going to be coming out in 3 years, but they want to start like planning for this thing. And, oops, this thing got released and now everyone knows this, that you have this new vehicle or whatever top secret thing that's out there. And how could you have stopped that?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's scary too with everything that's going on with these AI tools with like images that people can just like get a picture from social media and then put it on some AI tools and like transform them, completely shift the way that they look or make it into a video and have them say something that they didn't really say. And yeah, I can see definitely a lot of the younger kids, especially as they grow into teenagers, what they're going to be dealing with, especially as this AI gets more and more sophisticated. So that's a really good topic. Let's shift over to the final question that I have, which is, what bold contrarian advice would you give to marketers eager to embrace AI but still want to have control over outcomes?
So I think it would be kind of the TLDR, or summing up of what we discussed is use it to a certain extent where it helps you in creating the ad copy and coming up with audience ideas and helping you maybe structure your campaign. But when it comes to measurement, apply your own knowledge, apply your own standards, or establish your own standards, get to know what works for you, and then work with that and work with becoming better than yourself every day or every week with your campaigns.
Hmm.
But don't rely on Google, and don't, honestly, and then the last like more than 10 years now, I can tell you, don't rely on like 90% of what a Google rep tells you. I know this might
Controversial.
not put me in the best place here, but out of experience, I have gone pretty well, and I've gotten pretty far with taking the 10% that are good and valuable, and then taking care of the rest myself.
I love that. Let's go ahead and wrap this up with a lightning fire round if you would like. I have some questions here. So, what's one Google automation that completely tanked your campaign performance, and how did you fix it?
That completely tanked my campaign performance.
Yes.
So I think it, would have been the well, like a client applied those like target CPA recommendations, and then the budget suddenly increased, and they just were not aware of that for like, I think, until the next bill, pretty much.
Hmm.
So that wasn't ideal at all, and then we have to fix that. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, do not trust the recommendations tab. Definitely reach out
No.
to a Google Pro that doesn't work for Google to give you feedback. Um, what was the most overrated AI feature in Google Ads right now?
I think right now it's the AI search max.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're definitely pushing it every time you log in. Every time you look at adding new keywords, it's there. It's just a toggle switch. All you need to do is just press the toggle switch on, and boom.
Yep.
What is your favorite AI tool to use these days?
Currently, so I've been using Claude for a while, but that's becoming glitchier and the answers have become really, really long recently. So I've started using more of ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I've been experimenting a lot recently with text to video AI creation.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I specifically use Veed.io. I
Mm-hmm.
compared it with, oh God, with two others. So there was CapCut and what was the
Mm-hmm.
other tool? It's also very known. But yeah, anyway, so that's been very interesting, very fascinating to play with. About
Okay.
50% is a hit, the other 50% is a miss.
Do you use it to make AI avatars or just to chop up your content
I
for
use
short
it to
form?
create AI only videos that
Okay.
so far have performed the same on social media as content recorded by me. I have looked into AI avatars, but I haven't created one yet.
Got it. Got it. Interesting. I need to jump on the bandwagon too, of creating some AI videos. Love that. So Veed.io. I use CapCut too. So
Mhm.
let's see. Some other things. If you could tell Google's AI team one thing to fix tomorrow, what would it be?
Just bring back the match types. Let us have those match types, work properly and give us the rest of the insights for the search term report.
I
Like
was just
I
gonna
find
say
it
that.
it's incredibly outrageous that you're hiding that data and they can only allow that to happen because they're such a big company and they know that most companies will never bother put in enough work to get together and do something about it.
When I saw that happening, that was probably a few years ago. I would imagine that there would be some type of class action lawsuit come out of that. Because, and as time went on, even more, a higher percentage of the search terms went missing. And two, depending on the match types that you're using, more would be disappearing as well, and show up in the other. But the problem is you can't see what you're spending your money on, and that's a big issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, they play on people being comfortable and
Hmm.
saying, "Oh, it's, why would I care? Why would Google listen?" and so on. And yeah, there's a couple of factors involved. But if enough people or companies would get together, they would have to do something. But it
Yeah.
would mean people then also drawing consequences and saying, "Hey, you know what? If you don't do this, then must switch." So
Yeah, but
it's boutique level moves.
there's no real comparable alternatives. I mean, Bing, but Bing doesn't really get that much reach, in terms of the volume of searchers there anyway. So yeah, it's not that easy to just jump ship. I think if there was a comparable alternative, there definitely it would be easier to just
Mhm.
jump. And I can't tell you how frustrated I would get. And now I'm just like, okay, this is just the reality of it. But when you're dealing with clients with CPCs that are $200-300, and the majority of the clicks go into the other search terms, and you can't see what that is, that's super super frustrating. And then you're just like, okay, I'm just operating blindly here. I'm driving without opening my eyes.
Yeah, because also like you don't know, is Google actually using the terms you already excluded?
Hmm.
Like you don't know. And honestly, Google can tell you whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other ethical issue we probably could have our own video on.
Yeah.
And then finally, do you believe keywords will be dead in the next 5 years?
Probably, yeah.
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 I mean, keywordless future, AI Max is already using it. It's scanning the contents of your landing pages, websites. So just make sure that your landing pages and websites have really good content so that it knows how to match you when people are searching. So I fully agree with you on that one. But yeah, thank you so much, Pam, for joining me. It was such a great conversation talking about Google's AI. And if anyone wants to reach out to Pam, I will drop her information below, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Bye.